Welcome everybody to ESC Fan TV. It's Friday night, which can mean only one thing. It's time for another great show. We've got a fabulous panel of international guests with us this evening, and the show is all about 4 of this year's Eurovision Song Contest entries. We are going to get into and dissect Finland, Ireland, the Czech Republic and Spain this evening. But before we do that, let me say a warm welcome to my co-host this evening. It's Tom.
Hey Stu, looking forward to a fantastic show tonight. It's got some great songs.
We certainly have. Tom's going to be in the chat room. Make sure you chat away with him. Lots of chatters already in the chat room this evening. It's a lot of chats, isn't it? Let's say hello to our panel, our international panel. We're going to start with the Brits. We say good evening to London Vision's very own. It's Andy Brooke. He's on mute. Typical, isn't it? What a way to start.
Listen, the fucker told me to be on mute. Oh.
Yeah, but you also have a finger for the off button. Thank you for joining us.
No, you're welcome.
From London, we move down south. We say hey to Steve.
Hi there, everyone. Enjoy the show.
Good to see you, Steve. And we're moving back to London, but also it could be Spain because he's part Spanish. It's Tristan.
Hello. Looking forward to tonight.
Thank you, Tristan. Good to see you. From Spain and the UK, we move over to Cyprus. Good evening to Marius.
Well, I'm a Brit in Cyprus. Hi, guys.
Good to see you, Marius. Also staying with Cypriots, we're going to go and say good evening to Open. Or is it? Could it be somebody else?
It's Amavishi.
Welcome, bienvenue à Chypre.
Did anyone understand what the fuck he just said?
He looks like a fast food rocker. I'll have a Big Mac and chips, please.
And moving on from Cyprus all the way to probably not so sunny, but very early in the morning in Sydney, it's Michael. Come in, Michael. He's on mute as well. Still on mute.
He's not on mute.
Can anyone lip read?
He's not on mute either. Let's mute him and unmute him. Let's try again.
I can lip read. You don't want to know what he's saying.
No, we can't hear you, Michael. You might have to log back out, log back in again. Sorry, Michael. We'll do that a bit later on because that sounded great. Whatever the hell
this is like a really bad dream.
Yeah.
Really bad dream.
It is a bad dream.
Isn't it though?
But anyway, we're going to start the show. Thank you for joining us this evening. There's 25 or so of you already in the chat room. We are going to have a great show. Keep your comments coming in. We're going to start with the Czech Republic. And the Czech Republic have chosen a same singer, like most countries have. It's Benny Cristo. He's back with the song Omaga. Not OMG, Omaga. Debut in 2007 to Czech Republic. They've made 8 appearances at Eurovision, including 3 finals. Their best result was in 2018, coming 6th. Benny's a pretty well-known singer in the Czech Republic, and he's really excited about representing his country. It's an up-tempo pop entry, and the lyrics are, "Oh my God, you're so beautiful." However, the Czech Republic are 3rd last in the betting. So there's not a lot of love for Czech Republic, but our panel might disagree. Let's start with Tristan. Tristan, tell us about this song.
Oh, it's really interesting. It's really different in the same way that Australia is different this year, which is going to make it really stand out. It's quite similar to last year's, but of course, hardly anyone watching the show will have even been aware of what he did last year, so that doesn't matter. I had last year's one 15th, and this year I've got him 16th. So slightly, for me, this is slightly worse than Kamama, but I do like it. And I think it'll do. It's really hard to know whether this is going to get through or not, because it's just like it could do, it might not. It really depends on where it is in that first half of semi-1, how badly positioned it is. One thing I do want to say, though, am I right in thinking, and maybe the people in the comments can say, is this the very first song in Eurovision history with all its letters in lowercase? Because Omaga has no capital O at the front. Now, I am aware that there is another song, Macedonia 2000, by XXL, which was 100% Telubam, that had no capital letters, but that's because it started with a number. But I'm not aware of any other songs that have all lowercase. So if anyone knows of any, maybe they could say it in the comments.
We'll come to Andy for that reply in a second, because I'm sure he's got all the stats behind that. We're going to go to Steve. Steve, Kamama was a fan favourite until he changed the entry last year and arguably made it worse. Well, that's what fans said. What do you make of Oh My God?
I prefer this. And is there something about a title that's Oh My God that would actually fall foul of the rules? Or is he just being uber cool about calling it Omaga or whatever it is? I like it. I don't think it deserves to be so far down the betting. I think it's borderline to get through, but I think it might get through, particularly if he's topless, because let's face it, he's fit.
I suspect it's probably an appropriate time just to remind ourselves of Benny Cristo for those watching live on the show or watching this on the download. Thank you for reminding me to put that up on screen, Steve. Andy looks like he needs a cool down. Let's go over to him. Andy, Czech Republic have to do really, really well and bring an absolute cracker to Eurovision to qualify. 3 qualifications in 8 appearances. Can this do it for them?
No, probably not. But fair dues, they brought something different every year for many years. And this is a cracking song. It's just not really my type of music, but I mean, it's done really well. He's a great singer. And can he sing live though? I was looking to see if I could find any live performances. Can't see much. No, it's not gonna qualify. But it's a decent song.
It is a decent song, and if there was any justice in the world, I think this would sail through. And it's a very current pop song. Let's go to Oben. Oben.
Yes, I am listening, Master. How may I help you today?
Tell us who you've come as today. Are you auditioning for RuPaul's Drag Race by chance?
Oh, sniffing poppers.
What do you mean? I come as me. This is the full package. This is what you get when you get me. I thought this is what you signed up for.
Thank you, Oben. I couldn't hear a bloody word you said then, but tell us about Omaga. Are you a fan?
I am an Omaga, and I am Omaga of Omaga. I mean, the song is beautiful. It's so fun. It's so hype. It's beautiful. I am loving the song. But do I think it's a qualifier? I don't think so. I think there's nothing special, nothing memorable except those shirtless pictures from the video clip. But if he comes with a nice staging, that he just enjoys the moment, let the audience in and enjoy it with him, I think this is the only type of warm, friendly staging that would work for him, that would maybe make him qualify for the final.
Thank you, Owen. Coming to Marius next. Marius, Czech Republic achieved a top 6 in Lisbon with an up-tempo pop song, which really went down a storm. And, okay, it was pretty high up in the betting at the time, but everyone got behind it. What does Benny have to do to pull off a bit of a shock qualification, given that it's third last in the betting odds? The odds are against him qualifying. What has he got to do?
Well, was it Steve who said that he might take his shirt off or somebody? Well, I don't think that might even work either. So Omaga, Omega, Oh My Gaga, whatever it's called, it's a decent song. It won't qualify, I'm sure, because it's in semi-final 1. There's some real strong entries in semi-final 1. And if it does go through, I would be surprised. What does he have to do? Just give a good stage of the song. I mean, he can't do more than that. But I think it's not going to have any impact, unfortunately.
Thank you, Marius. Well, there's someone on screen now. Georgina's a huge fan of this song. Sounds like Gustav isn't, however. Over to Sydney. and see if we can make contact with Michael. Michael, can you hear me?
Dobrý večer, Evropě. Dobrý ráno, Australia. Good morning. Hopefully that's a bit better.
Good morning, Michael.
Good morning.
That's much better. We can hear you as well. Tell us about Omaga. Is this a favourite of yours? Can you see yourself bopping away?
Oh,
Your audio's gone again.
I think it's a great little bop. It's a bit of fun. It's a bit of fluff. It's an improvement from last year's song. I dance away to this in the car, and I'll continue to do so. I'm glad it's part of our Eurovision family. Will it make it to the VIP party in May? Nah, probably not. But if it doesn't, we'll be dancing away to it for a long time. Do you like
Thank
my
you,
morning
Michael.
face mask? I haven't actually had a chance to shower yet, so I slept in last night.
It's very fetching. I particularly like the crown. It almost feels like you've nicked that off Kate Miller-Heidke from a few years back.
Okay.
Not sure we can hear me. So, Tom, let's come to you next. I mean, look, it looks as though the betting is suggesting that this isn't going to qualify. However, I could see this scraping through because I think it's all about the staging. And is there a possibility that this could be the shock qualification of Eurovision this year?
The trouble is, Stu, you say shock qualification as if we all kind of don't expect it to qualify. The thing is, I'm picturing myself on a beach, listening to some tunes. This comes on. I've got some whiskey, some cocktails, some rum going on. And quite frankly, I would see this as the sure qualifier. I'll drink to that. It's amazing. I like this song a lot. I think it's got a really good summer vibe to it. And I reckon it's unfair to say that it won't qualify. I think it could scrape through. Would it be a surprise to people? It'd only be a surprise to people who have basically become so entrenched in their views that they think such and such must qualify, this must get through, this must get through. And I think sometimes in the fandom, that's actually not exactly the best view to take. This has got as good a chance as any. And I think if he actually has some decent staging behind him, I reckon this has got a great chance of getting through. Is it going to set the scoreboard alight if it gets through to the Saturday night? Probably not. Is it going to be a song that Tom is going to have a drink to? Absolutely.
I think the part of the problem is so many fans look at this as being a contest full of bangers and bops, right? And we'll talk about bangers and bops on our awards piece a bit later on. But the thing is, this is going completely under the radar because everyone's listening to the likes of Azerbaijan and Cyprus and going, wow, these great songs are great. Ukraine's really different this year. Greece has sent something that's kind of 80s inspired, but it's fab. And no one's talking about this because it's one of the few male performers doing a bop this year. I think this is actually one which could surprise. I think if he delivers a good live stage show, and we saw that when he performed Kamama at I think was it the finish or no, it wasn't the finish. It was one of the national finals last year. He actually delivered it really, really well. Now that's to your point, Andy. He can sing this live. I'm pretty certain. He certainly could sing Kamama live. And yeah, who knows? I mean, I wish him well because I think it's a good song. I'd listen to this one outside of Eurovision, except obviously Gustav disagrees. There we go. What are the chat rooms saying, Tom?
Over in the chat room, Stu. Hayley's shocked it's so low. It's in the betting. Georgina obviously loves the track and agrees with me. Donna reckons it's better than last year's effort, but not one of her favourites. You know, there seems to be some divided opinions with this, but I think the thing is, it's one of those songs. It's a bit like Marmite, isn't it? It's flying under the radar. When a song flies under the radar, they either love it or they hate it. And quite frankly, you know, that's the divided opinion tonight. But Georgina, absolutely, totally agree. Awesome song.
Thank you, Tom. By the way, there is a difference between songs that you love prior to Eurovision and those that come alive on stage, and we must remember that. Think about Eleni Ferreira back in 2018. She was 100 to 1 in the betting, guys. Let's remind ourselves of that. And then when we finally got to Eurovision, I remember there were tons of people saying, not a chance, won't even qualify. We got to Eurovision, and it completely blew everybody away. So there will be songs this year. There'll be songs this year that deliver on the night. There'll be songs this year where people will cry themselves to sleep over non-qualification. That's the reality of it.
The one song Stu did not have £10 on, Eleni Ferrero.
I did actually. That's how the story.
100 to 1. He missed out.
I did.
Sent me a message on the day of the contest and told me to back friggin' Serbia. Look what happened there. Just saying.
It's all lies, and lies, Tom. Let's move on. Let's move on to our second song of the night. Spain. Blas Cantó is back with Tristan. Can you pronounce this for me before I destroy it?
Sorry.
Blas Cantó. Is it Voy a quedarme?
Voy a quedarme.
Thank you very much.
You pronounce the V like a B. Voy a quedarme.
Thank you, Tristan. Yep. Blas Cantó is back. He was due to perform for Spain last year in 2020, like most of the artists. He gets his chance this year. They've gone for a ballad, have Spain. And Spain, of course, absolutely a country that's been around in Eurovision for tons and tons of years. 59 years to be precise. They won it twice in 68 and 69. However, haven't come within an arse's roar of winning it any time recently. In fact, the last 15 years have been a complete disaster for Spain. Only 11, in fact, they finished 11 out of 15 times, 20th place or worse. Can it change for Spain this year? And sending a ballad is very Spanish over the last sort of 10 years or so. Let's go to Andy first. Andy, feels very retro Spain. What do you think about this particular song?
Well, I really like it, actually. It's growing on me. I've listened to it a few times and I like it more every time. He is a fantastic singer, he really is. Really good live singer. He's got an amazing presence. And he's a gorgeous man, and it'll get lost. It's it's very Spanish. Obviously it's not flamenco, but Spain likes this type of sort of ballad. It could have been in Operación Triunfo in 2002. It's not going to like to have scored, but he deserves his place on a Eurovision stage. He's great.
Thank you, Andy. I'm just looking at Jude's comment. It's a sausage factory on the show tonight. Thanks, Jude. We did try to get some other guests on, but they ran a mile when they realised it was a sausage factory. But there we go. Let's go to Tristan. Tristan. How do you feel your country going to do this year? Because currently Spain are second last in the betting.
They were last when I last looked, but that was maybe yesterday.
Okay. Second last earlier.
I think that they're going to do better than what people think are expecting, because I think the juries are going to like this. He has a fantastic voice. I mean, I used to followed him a lot on a program called Quedarme Suena, which is sort of like Your Face Looks Familiar. I think they had a go at that over here, where people take off other stars. And he did Anastasia, he did Cher. It was fantastic, and he won it. He won that contest. He's got an amazing voice. He'll have no problem on stage. He won't have any bum notes. I'm pretty sure of that. I don't know if it will gel with the televote. Spain's expectations this year are really low. So whereas last time they were in it, obviously with Lavenda, it was really, really high. And so the people were really disappointed. I think this year their expectations are low, so I think they'll be pleasantly surprised. I think it will end up possibly middle of the table, maybe even just scrape into the left-hand side. I think it's a better song than Universo, although it's not as memorable as Universo. But as male ballads go, I think it's one of the better ones this year. Obviously, the language barrier doesn't help because he's up against a lot of English language ballads, but it didn't matter with Pastora Soler, which also had that big long high note at the end, which this has as well. So it could well do a lot better than people are expecting.
Thanks, Tristan. And just on that point around ballads in general, there aren't that many ballads this year, and those that are sending ballads have to qualify in a sea of absolute bangers this year. So he could end up being the only ballad or one of the few ballads in the final. Michael, does that act as an advantage for Spain this year? Or is this song just so bland that it's just not going to find any place for it in the kind of higher ends of the table?
Number 26. Your chicken's ready somehow. That's what I'm ordering. I'm ordering number 26 on the table, that one. put my card down for that. It's going to finish. Unfortunately, this song's going to finish dead last.
And is there anything that Blas can do to save it? Because Tristan's right, he's a very well-known performer in Spain. He's been around for a long, long time, and he's one of their top performers. And this song feels to me like it's good, but it just doesn't have the X factor in a Eurovision where there are so many unique songs this year.
Look, let me think about that. No.
Oh, well,
No,
there you go.
Look, 6 songs that finish on the right-hand side of the board, and that's a great effort, I think, Spain. Keep the good work up, and bring back Micah. That was awesome last year. This year, it's my toilet break. I need a long toilet break this year.
Thanks, Michael. Thanks. Well, we'll all get a chance because we'll be sat on the sofa probably. Steve, Spain have done terribly the last 15 years. I can't put my finger on why, but it's just all gone badly wrong for them, with the exception of one or two, as Tristan's mentioned. What's happened, and can this song break the curse?
I think they've got a similar problem to us. They're just submitting songs that are just not going to attract many votes at all. However, I like this. I think it's a nice song. It's I like last year's as well. I don't think it's going to finish 26th, but it's probably going to be 24th or 25th. I've got 26th reserved to Germany for various other reasons. See Kyle and all that. But I think he's got a great voice. His vocal range, particularly on the higher notes, is really, really good. And I like a good singer. So I hope he doesn't finish last, but I think it could easily get lost. And what's he doing with that old lady in the video as well? What's going on there?
Thank you, Steve. Thank you.
I think that's his mum, and that's obviously because people have been at home a lot this year.
His mum?
I think it's meant to be.
It must be Spanish. For God's sake.
Thank you, chaps. Let's go to Oban next. Oban, Spain. What kind of performance are you expecting from Blas? Is it going to be one of the better vocal performances on stage?
I wanted to say one thing. I don't think there's a language barrier because I don't understand a word in French, but still I totally feel the story that Barbara is telling with Voila, and I am hypnotized. I'm on the journey with her. Last year it was Spanish, but with Universo there was a story, and we've been captivated for 3 minutes, and we were on a journey with him. This year, I think the problem is here. What's the story of this song? I do not see what he is trying to communicate, because music is a form of art, and musicians are artists. But what is this artist trying to portray here? What's the story? I don't get anything. I have this. I remember this Simon Cowell saying this on one of these British talent shows. It feels like a Chinese food. You eat it, it's nice, but when you finish, you don't feel full. It's just like that. It's just like a Chinese food. It's nice 3 minutes. Okay, high notes are there. Okay, he's a beautiful man, but what do you get at the end of it? You're not full. You don't. Your soul is not full. Your stomach is not full. Even your eyes.
Thank you, Oban. I'm just reading some of the chats as well that are coming up, and it's good stuff's in the chat room, because I kind of felt like this was probably the song for him. I was quite surprised he didn't want to do tonight's show, actually, because finally there's a ballad for him to talk about, but he is defending its position in the chat room, and I'm sure he'll give Blas a vote on Eurovision final night. Marius, I think Oban makes a great point. Kind of feels like it's good and it's nice. But is nice and good a good recipe on Eurovision final night, or is that really where Spain need to move out of? Have they got to find their kind of green space where they produce and send something that's unique, different, and really captivates? Is this going to captivate the audience to pick up their phones and vote?
I don't think so. And as a Eurovision fan for the last 40 years, it pains me to see Spain, one of my favorite countries at Eurovision, that have the potential to do so well. It's like us, the UK, that we just don't send the songs that we could really do well. And except from some occasions, Spain has sent some really good songs and they ended up second. We have some good examples. They've been doing really poorly in the last 15 years, as you said. This song doesn't bother me. I think it's not gonna get that many votes. You know, it's one of the big five. Let's just say if this was in the semi, it would definitely not qualify. He's very sweet, attractive, good voice. I liked the song better last year though. But Spain could do really well, and this really upsets me because they have the potential to win, and it's like it pains me to know that they haven't won for so long. They need to get it. Come on, they need to get the trophy.
I actually agree totally. I don't think anyone is going to complain with a Spanish victory at some point. I think we all love to go to either Barcelona, Madrid, or somewhere else for 2 weeks or 1 week, whatever, in May. Tom, round us off before you're too pissed to speak, because I've seen what's going on in the chat room. You take yourself off mute first. There you go.
Oh, I was going to take myself off mute. Do you know what? There has been so much talk about Gustav. I feel like now is the right time to echo some of the words, some of Gustav's most used words on the shows recently. 3 words I'm going to use to describe this song. Thank you. Next. There we go.
Okay. Thank you, Tom. Is that it? Is that it? Is
That's
that
it.
what we're getting?
Done.
Right.
Done.
Okay, fine, we move on. The next part of tonight's show is the ESC Fan TV Awards, which will take place at the end of April. Tonight's category is Best Bop or Best Banger. And we've asked our panel to make their nominations, and we're going to collect those nominations shortly. And I think we will start with Marius this evening. Marius, who are you going, well, which artist or which song or which band or which song are you choosing this time?
Well, after thinking about this for a few days now, I've come down to one. It has to be Blas Cantó, Let Loose. They deserve it. You know, definitely.
Thank you, Marius. Let's go to Tristan. Who's your pick and why?
Okay, I'm going with one which probably no one will be expecting. It's from Estilau, semi-final 2. It's not Tartu, which I picked up in the last show. It's one that didn't get through again. It's Grammar Fun, Lost in the Dance. And that's a really, really fun, I'd say it's more of a bop than a banger. It's a really 80s influenced song, and I can hear it again and again. It just brings me back nice warm feelings about the 80s. Love it.
Thank you, Tristan. Good pick, actually. Just didn't quite work live, I think, for the viewers. Andy, let's have your pick. Who are you going for?
Yeah, really difficult. I want to go for 10 years and Daddy, but I'm actually going to go for the Roop and Discotheque. I think it's going to win Eurovision this year.
Why do you think it's going to win Eurovision?
That's a really good question.
Or were you just saying it?
No, genuinely. I think that they performed fantastically well at their national final. It's better than last year's song. They'll come with a lot of goodwill because of last year. And whilst I like Daddy's song as well, and they have all the same goodwill coming with them, I think more people will go for Discotheque. They wouldn't have stood a chance if Russia had sent Little Big, because I think they would have won last year, and I think they would have won this year. But given that they're not in, and it's a good dance song.
Yeah, we'll get into Russia soon because I've got some thoughts on what might have happened there. That was a strange one. It looks like they picked a national final in about 2 seconds. Okay, thank you, Andy. I'm going to go to Steve next. Steve, who is your pick?
Well, I'm going for Esty Lowell as well, and I'm going for my 2 fat ladies there. Heaven's Not Too Far Tonight, I think it was called. I love it.
And why did you pick that one, Steve, other than the fact you loved it?
I just
Do you think it
it's
should have won?
so immediate. It's just really catchy, and it's well sung. Love it.
Thank you.
For the older generation.
No, I was a big fan of that as well. I thought it was a really good song in Esti Lau, but you could tell it was never going to stand a chance, couldn't you? But yeah, there we go. They went resoundingly for Uke Saviste. Let's go to Michael. Michael, who are you going to go for?
So I have my very favourite bop this year, which was the moment I heard it. So the first 10 beats of it. It's Shum. It's Ukraine's entry. I love this song, and I may have nominated as well for its cultural heritage, but this song does take culture and turn it into an absolute banger. The driving bass behind that, the song goes and progresses. It's different. It's what we haven't heard for a while in Eurovision. I think this is something which I think Ukraine and we as a community should be proud of. That song I'd be 3 a.m. on a dance floor somewhere going off to that one with my hands in the air if I could. So that's my banger.
Thanks, Michael. And just to clarify, I think you said cultural orgasm just then. Enjoy your drink, Ian and Donna. And we move on to Oban. Oban, who is your pick for best bop, best banger? And you're not allowed to choose Cyprus. That's a joke.
This year I'm gonna go as surprise choice. I'm gonna nominate my first choice. I was hoping that my first choice would be nominated, so I can choose Roxanne Amnesia to battle it with Elliot's best ballad to see the song will do in which category better. But since my first choice is not chosen so far, I'm gonna go with my first choice, which is I know it's gonna come as a shock and it's a little bit of a surprise. But I mean, there is only one nation in this world who does this banger better than any other nation, right? We wrote the book. We are the master degree. We have the PhD. There is no other straight record or gay record who is gonna send the best female bop banger every year. And of course, this year's banger of the year is coming from an island nation, a very small island nation.
Are you referring to Malta? Malta's entry is amazing.
Half of its flag is white, and the other half is yellow. And of course, we're talking about Cyprus. Of course, we are talking about Cyprus. Of course, Elena. Of course, the Queen. Of course, the El Diablo. Of course, all the odds of threats of the nationalists burning down the Rijks building, all the political drama in the house. But we did it. We finally made it through it. We're coming to get you all. The banger of the year is Cyprus, El Diablo. And yeah, and we're still not gonna win. But okay, no worry.
But your hair will be shiny and bright.
It will. It will. As Michelle says, Elaine Ferreira was the shiniest person in the whole of Lisbon in 2018. She really was. Yeah, just a point there from Neil Futcher. Not so much a nomination, more stream of consciousness there, Oban. Nice job. Tom, before I go to Marius, who's your pick?
Look, it says it all. Look, see, simple. Everyone knows the message. It's dead simple. Everywhere we go. Out to die! Best bop, best banger. Amazing. Nomination. It should win. Easy.
Yeah, it won't. Marius, who's your pick?
Haven't I given mine already?
You have. Have I been to everyone? Marius, Tristan. I have, haven't I? I've done everyone. So I've lost track of who's who. Okay.
Sometimes I wonder who's drinking tonight, Steve. I'm just.
Well, I did make myself a cheeky mojito. Sorry.
We need yours. Who's your banger?
Oh, I haven't done mine. It can only be one, can't it? Because everyone donated so kindly, so generously. I've of course gone for Rayleigh's Hero. Yeah, exactly. Rayleigh's Water, Rayleigh's Hero. So they are your nominations for Best Bop, Best Banger. We will be sending out the links to vote for your winner of this category in the ESC Fan TV Awards very, very soon. Stay tuned and check our Facebook and Instagram for more details. Coming very, very soon. We're going to move on now to our next song of the evening. It's Finland. It's Blind Channel. Finland have participated 53 times since 1961. They have won once. We all remember back in 2006 with Lordi. Some of us actually may even have been there. Blind Channel won their national final in Finland really comprehensively. It was kind of the upset, actually, given that they beat Axel, who was due to represent Finland last year, so comprehensively. But they did, and they are Finland's choice. Finland are currently 10th favourite to win Eurovision, which is interesting because violent pop, as they call themselves, isn't something you naturally expect from a Eurovision winner, and that doesn't mean it can't happen, doesn't mean it shouldn't happen, but can it happen? Let's go to Michael.
Oh, look, this song was a surprise winner, and I know my friends Danny and Mark in Melbourne will be loving this song and loving a lot about this. And there is a lot to like about the music behind it. I think it'll be refreshing and it'll be remembered. I'm going to start the conversation. I'll put it that way. I am not pleased with the lyrics. The lyrics in this song are potentially harmful for those who are in a weak and vulnerable spot. I'm really, really sorry. It's something which I take a stand on. Youth suicide and suicide in general is something which should not be at all sort of celebrated. And there's things that we don't need to be talking about in that sort of way in this contest. So good luck. Well done, Finland, for choosing something interesting. I wish the lyrics were a little bit different because I'm putting my middle finger up for this song and going, nah.
Not for you. Thanks, Michael. So there are lots of fans for this song, and there's lots of people that think it will win. A lot of money going on Finland to win this year, and there's some really great comments coming through the chat room. Let's go to Marius first. Marius, the staging was reasonably simple, I think, in the Finnish final. Do you think they'll make any changes? And what are your thoughts on the song?
I don't think they'll do many changes. I don't think they'll be able to, show the middle finger. But I have to agree with Michael. After listening to the song a few times and the lyrics, it kind of disturbed me as well. And I understand exactly where Michael's coming from. And I'm sure a lot of people are going to think this way, especially if they look into the lyrics. However, do I like the song? Yes. Do I think it should qualify? Yes. Do I think it will be a shock non-qualifier? Yes. Because I think the people who are going to listen to the song for the first time on the night are not going to really concentrate on the lyrics as such. It depends, of course, in what order they will appear, what slot they have. But I do wish them the best. It's one of the songs I listen to every day. But yeah, the lyrics do kind of tick me and rub me the wrong way.
Thanks, Marius. So I'm going to put something to you. And it's interesting you mentioned about shock qualifier. I'm going to get Tristan's view on this, actually. So I think there's a very good chance that the juries will hate this. And I think there's a very good chance that the televote will love this. And so it might split the votes. And if that were the case, there is a possibility that this is the shock non-qualifier of semi-final 2. Tristan, can you see that happening, or am I totally wrong and this will sail through?
It will sail through. It's in the weakest of the two semi-finals. It's in the second half of that semi-final, which normally means that it's more likely to get through because it's in the second half. And it just happens that the second half of that semi-final is the weaker half. So it's definitely going to go through. Anyone who likes rock music is going to vote for it because it's the only rock song in that whole semi-final. Then when it gets to the final, I don't think we'll do that well because it's going to be up against Italy. And I think while all the Italian rock fans who wouldn't normally watch Eurovision are going to be watching Eurovision this year because Måneskin are in it, and this is going to be the only song that they're going to vote for. So this is a guaranteed 12 points from the Italian televote, I think. I think most other countries will, if they're only going to have one vote and they like rock music, they're going to choose Italy. So I would say that it's going to bomb in the final, but it's going to definitely sell through in the semi-final. I really like it. I mean, it's not really my kind of music, but there again, like AWS for Hungary wasn't my kind of music, and I absolutely love that. It's just done well. It's new metal, which we don't really get very often, and I just think it's my favourite of the Nordic countries, to be honest, this year. I just don't know how. There's a few like little glitchy sounds in the vocals, which I don't think they'll be able to do live because it's not part of the backing track. That thing, which is a shame because obviously that's quite an important part of the studio version. But yeah, it's just going to sell through. I don't think there's any harm, and I think the jury will actually quite like it because juries are made up of all people from all kinds of different musical persuasions.
It's interesting because you make the comparison with AWS, and it's interesting because I think everyone assumed that AWS stormed their semi-final and then were going to do really well in the final. But if we all recall what happened in Lisbon, they were 8th, 9th, I think, in their semi-final, and they finished 22nd in the final overall. I want to come to you, Andy, for this actually. Obviously you covered the Italian shows, and they were a big hit, and Måneskin are really popular. But forgetting the fact they're in the final, focusing on this semi-final, is there a possibility that this is just too far out there, that the voters are just not going to get behind this in a similar way to what happened with AWS? AWS narrowly qualified. Is there a possibility? And Finland have had this over the years. We thought Finland a few years ago with the guy and the girl, I can't remember the name of the song now, someone help me out, was supposed to qualify. Thank you very much. Didn't qualify. Could this go a similar way?
Well, if Blackbird can fail to qualify, then anything can shock fail to qualify. But no, I think he will go through. And Elliot and I interviewed these guys. They're lovely young guys. They're not going to compromise at all in their Eurovision performance. They told us that if they can't do exactly what they want to do, they won't go. Of course, they've now signed a contract, so they've got to do whatever they're told by YLE. I hadn't noticed the references or the theme of suicide in the song, but I do know that that's a big thing in Finland, and there's a high incidence of suicide generally in the country. So I'm a little bit surprised that the song is about that and going to Eurovision, but it's their choice. I just think it's a bit of a noise, really. When it gets to the final, as Tristan says, Italy's going to piss on their chips.
Yeah, I can see that. Let's go to Oban. This type of genre, though, I mean, even with Italy, can we ever see this type of genre actually winning? And I'm kind of excluding Lordi because there will be people that will compare it with Lordi from 2006, but I don't see it as the same at all. Can this type of song, this type of genre ever win Eurovision?
I think Italy has a good chance this year. I think Italy have a base already before the voting starts. They already started a certain amount of jury and televotes, regardless of the song. And so things piling up on that base, I think they have a chance. In regards to Finland, I love it. Like, I love the song. That's the first song on my playlist when I leave my house in the morning on my way to work. Get the car out of the driveway, start going, plug in the aux cable, play the playlist, and the first lyrics start, put your middle fingers up and shout. And that's the best anthem for every single workday morning. However, it's not a Lordi. They're not going to win. It's not a Manga. They're not going to finish second. It's not AWS. They're better than that, so they're not going to go on all the way down to 22nd. I think they're as good as Hatari, and my guess that they will finish 10th place in the final.
Thank you, Oban. And Steve, as part finish, is this a song which, I mean, the Finnish people are very proud of this, and it was quite the shock, actually, that Axel lost in the way that he did, but he lost convincingly, 54% of the vote we've just seen on screen. Is this a song which can qualify and will qualify, and Can you get behind a scenario where this could just miss out?
I think it's bound to qualify, and I think I'd agree with Oban. It might be around 10th place. It might be slightly above, slightly below. I think that's where it's going to finish. The Finns love their rock and tango music. They're the favourite genres and have been for years. And so I can see that Finland will have got behind this. I do agree with what was previously said about the lyrics, though. I mean, it's something, the 27 Club obviously refers to all those unfortunate rock stars that died at the age of 27. So the lyrics are a bit disappointing in some ways, but I don't think people are necessarily going to listen to the lyrics. And I agree, this one's more accessible than the Hungarian entry of 3 years. Accessible, I'm using Mel's kind of description for rock songs that she just dies for. I think it might be a little bit more of a competition between Italy and Finland at the end. And I like both songs, actually. And I'm not usually a fan of that sort of music. I loved Pandora and everything else with I Love You. And it's a drippy song that came second in the Finnish final, but I loved it to bits and I still play that. I think this is going to do well for Finland. And I think round about 10th place is probably what it'll do. And it might close the semi-final as well. I can see this one coming at the end.
It's going to get close. It'll be a good close to the semi-final. And thanks for reminding me that Finland... Thank you. Thanks for reminding me that Finland love rock and tango. I'm still having nightmares over Jari Sillanpää. So thank you for reminding me of that. You've taken me back now.
Takes two to tango, doesn't it?
Oh, it certainly did. It takes two to do something, that's for sure. And he was definitely doing something. Tom, our panel were absolutely unanimous. This is qualifying. I'm not convinced. What about you?
Let's look at this. Right. Semi-final 2. Okay, which is where I think, isn't that where Finland reside? We've got Benny Cristo, I think, is going to go through. We've got Daddy, I think, is going to go through. I think Natalia from Moldova is going to go through. Senate going through. Hurricane going through. I think Victoria will go through. Samantha Tina, Black Mamba, Gijon's Tears. And then you've got a whole fight of other songs that people seem to be touting as potential qualifiers. And this is one of them. And you know what? I reckon this is going to be one of those songs where we look at the voting records at the end of the contest and we're like, oh my God, so near, so far. Everyone's saying it's going to qualify 10th place. I'm always an awkward bastard. 11th. There we go. I think it's just going to miss out. I really do. I think it's just going to be one of those things. It's going to be close but no cigar, and it's just going to dip out of actually reaching through to the final. It's a good song. It's rocky. Is it going to stand out? Well, it is, but there's a lot of variety in semi-final 2 anyway. And quite frankly, if there's a lot of variety, songs don't stand out, they blend in. And this is where this song could actually fall down. And that's the problem with it. I like it. I think it's a great song. I think they're a great act. But for me, unfortunately, I think this year, Finland are just going to be left behind. Sorry.
Sorry, can I just clarify? Does that mean you and I actually agree on something?
Look, it happens once in a lifetime.
So it does, just once.
Inez said that once.
Yeah, she did. We're going to move on to our final song of the evening. It's Ireland. Ireland are back with something really cool this year. Lesley Roy is back with Maps. She was due to take part in Eurovision last year with Story of My Life, which was also actually a fan favourite, but this is pretty good. Of course, Ireland are renowned at Eurovision, 53 times, 65, and a record 7 wins. Maps is very radio friendly. It's a positive, up-tempo pop song. That said, Ireland actually are behind the UK in the betting, which I find odd, because I think this is an accessible song, using that same Mel term that Steve mentioned earlier. But let's see what the panel have to say about this. Let's go to Oban first. Oban, this is the kind of song which I think juries and televotes can both get behind. Can you see this qualify, and can you see this potentially having a good Eurovision final?
I have to confess, I hated her 2020 song. I hated it. It's everything about her was wrong. It was too much, too overthought and whatever. But the song came, and I was so happy. It felt honest. The song and her image and her attitude and her behavior and the way she owned it, the song in that video clip, everything was sensational. The puzzle fit perfectly. It was right song for her. It was right year, right time. And for a very long time, until the last song announced, it was my top 10. And when all the songs were announced, she is on my 11th place. So she didn't make on my top 10, which upset me. But I think there will be enough number of voters that she will rank in their top 10. And it's all that matters. It's all that matters. You have to have enough people supporting you, putting you their top 10, and you make it to the final, and you get a good result. And I think this is going to do better than Ireland 2018 in the final.
It's interesting you use that year as a bit of a landmark, because I agree. I think Ireland have suddenly woken up in Eurovision years. I think they're now starting to choose artists that can deliver a good song, a good radio type song. They're not thinking about what a Eurovision winner might look like, and I think that's where a lot of countries tend to go wrong. Marius, what are your thoughts on Maps? And I mean, I guess, how does it compare from your point of view from Story of My Life, and what do you suspect that we'll see from Lesley Roy on stage in Rotterdam?
Well, first of all, this ticks all the boxes for me. Ireland is also one of my favorite countries at Eurovision. They lost the plot for 20 years, bless them. But this song, from the very first listen, I kind of felt something special in this song. Her voice sounds amazing on this track, and I wouldn't discount this out, guys. This might give Ireland one of their best placings in the last 15 years, even more. But she looks very sincere, and I love that about her. Her voice is really nice, with a good staging and a good team behind her. And I think this is the time that RTE should really get behind their acts and really get that spirit that they used to have back in the day, when they would get one win after another. This will go far. I can feel it.
Thanks, Marius. Coming to Andy. Andy, Ireland have, since the assemblies were introduced in 2004, have failed to qualify 7 times for a country that has such a history at Eurovision. But they are starting to get it right, aren't they? And they are definitely starting to climb again.
Well, if you listen to the Irish fans on the All Kinds of Everything Facebook group, no, they don't have an awful lot of love for this, but I love it. I think it's really good. Really, this is a real bop or a banger. It just motors on along at a great speed, and it's very catchy. So yeah, I do think that this is going to give them their best place for quite a long time. It sounds like the song that I was expecting James Newman to come back with. It's very British and Irish. It's very of its place in Europe. So yeah, I hope it does very well. And she's here.
She is, yeah. I can see her stood behind you
with a pointy head.
Yeah, you've lost her forehead, bless her. But she's there. Let's go to Michael. Michael, what are the Australians thinking about this particular song? Do we see? I mean, the other thing to factor in here is that she's in semi-final 1, and we just talked about how tough semi-final 1. I mean, if ever there was a time to send a good song, this is the time, because otherwise you stand no chance. Does she stand a chance?
Sure, there's a chance. And I like this song. This song reminds me so much of, if we go back to Australia Decides 2018, one of my favourite bands. It's a Shepherd song. It's an Australian band, Shepherd. And when I heard it, I thought, oh my God, they've written a song for Ireland. It's a nice up-tempo song, but it's not Google Maps, it's old-fashioned maps. I get lost in this, and I don't think this is going to make it out of the semis. I think this is going to be everyone's 9th and 10th favourite. And I have a feeling it's a really strong year that, unfortunately, as much as I actually quite like this song and I'll dance away to it. And I think it's a really good entry from Ireland. I think this is going to be my shock non-qualifier from semi-final 1.
Oh, it'd be an absolute travesty if it doesn't qualify for me, but I can see a pathway to it not qualifying. Steve, what are your thoughts?
It's a real earworm, isn't it?
Yeah.
The moment I heard it, it just stuck in my head. But I'm going to agree with Michael here. I think it might struggle to get through that very strong semi-final. And I wonder what her performance is going to be like. I know, don't listen, Lesley. Don't listen. I don't know what I'm talking about. I think it's going to be down to the performance, down to the draw, down to all of those things. It's got a chance of getting through. I'm not sure it will. And that's sad, because I think this is better than the song they put in last year. And it's really, really catchy.
So I'm going to make a suggestion now. I think Australia's going to open up semi-final 1, and I think this is going to be second on. That's why I
Australia's brilliant this year, I think. So that's dead. That's
I can see it's been second on. Let's get Tristan's point of view, because he's been waving his Irish flag over in the corner there. Tristan, give us a bit of positivity about this.
Well, I mean, I did prefer Story of My Life slightly, and I think Story of My Life would have sailed through last year. I do agree that because this is in semi-final 1, and also in the first half of semi-final 1, I have a feeling it might not qualify, which would be a travesty. I think it's a fantastic song. I'm not sure about what she's going to sing like live. We did hear her singing live, I think, in an Irish pub last year, and it wasn't too good. And of course, we didn't hear her sing it live in the Late Late Show. She was miming on top of a roof. So we haven't heard her sing it live yet. And it doesn't. I don't know. I just hope that it's going to be good. I absolutely love it. It will be a real shame if it doesn't get through, but I don't think it will. But funny enough, when we talk about suicide during the Finnish song, I find the video really weird in this one, because it ends up with her sort of like saying,
Yeah.
This is the way back home. This is the way back home. And then she ends up on the beach, panting, looking out to sea, and then she walks out into the sea. So it's almost like that. I just thought that was quite a weird sort of ending to the video. Why is she walking out into the sea after sort of like running towards it and saying, "This is my home. I'm going home"? I thought that was really odd.
Maybe she's a mermaid.
Maybe she's a mermaid. She could be. But one thing that Oban said that it's going to get through because it's going to be in lots of people's top tens. That is the case for the jury, but obviously for the televote, it's not good enough to be in the top 10. It has to be in their number one. So that's why I don't think it's going to get through.
And it is in a very difficult pack. I'm just looking at the first half of semi-final 1. Australia, Ireland, Lithuania, North Macedonia, Russia, Slovenia, Sweden, Australia, Lithuania. Well, certainly Sweden and Lithuania have been touted as potential winners of Eurovision this year, and Australia is not a million miles behind. So you've got 3 really good songs there, and you've got a few sandwiched in between. There's a chance it could get lost. Tom, Any Justice in the World, this qualifies, doesn't it? And it's a good song. Or are you going to tell me you hate it?
No, I like this. I think the thing is, it's in that semi-final of death.
Yeah.
And I genuinely think that this should qualify. Definitely should qualify. It should get through. Unfortunately, in these semi-finals where you have such high expectations for so many songs, there's always some that end up getting a bit disappointed. And I'm hoping it's not going to be Ireland. I genuinely hope, for Ireland's sake, it's not going to be them. But Lesley Roy's going to have to prepare herself for the worst. By all means, throw absolutely everything at it. I think, in actual fact, she could do really, really well. And she clearly really wants to do the contest and everything like that. But, yeah, I think expect the unexpected. There we go. Best way to put it.
There are your 4 songs. Quick roundup from the panel. Out of Finland, Ireland, Czech Republic and Spain, who's going to finish the highest in Eurovision? Let's assume they all qualify to Eurovision final, which of course won't happen. Who's going to finish highest? Let's start with Andy.
Finland.
Steve?
Finland.
Let's go to Marius.
If Finland qualifies, Finland.
Okay, Tristan.
I'd say probably Finland, but possibly Spain. But I'd say actually I'm going to say Spain just to be different, because obviously Finland's going to win this vote, because I think Finland's going to get it's definitely going to get through, but because it's going to be competing with Italy, so I'm going to say Spain.
Thank you, Tristan. Michael.
Czech Republic. Look.
There you go. That would be the shock, wouldn't it? Oban.
I'm gonna say Finland for sure, but I also want to add just quickly. I do disagree. It's a stronger semi, but there are not 11 absolute qualifiers. There are 7 and 8 strong songs, yes, but there are 2 to 3 seats up for grab, and the countries that remain, Ireland is a strong chance to grab one of empty seats. So it's nobody's game, and I think definitely Ireland should not be taken granted.
It's a good call. I'm not really sure about this. I think probably Finland on paper, but I would quite like to see Czech Republic do well, actually. Tom, who's your pick?
Czech Republic, I have to say, is my pick.
I'm just looking at the chat room, Tom. Everyone's gone for Finland, basically, haven't they? With bar 1 or 2.
Yes. Everyone in the literally, with the exception of Donna, who said Ireland, hopefully, everyone's gone for Finland. Personally, I quite like Czech Republic, but then to be honest, I'm just yearning for those summer days, Stuart, with whiskey, cocktails, rum. That's what we need. That's what's needed.
Guys, that's our show. Join us on Sunday night at 9 p.m. Central European time for more of this. We've got 4 great songs to discuss. And Tom will be in the hot seat and I'll be in the chat room. I'd like to say a massive thank you to my panel for this evening. Big thank you to Andy from London Vision.
He's frozen.
He's not frozen. He's just ignoring me.
Oh, yes. Fair enough.
Sod him. Big thanks to Steve.
Yeah. Thanks for it, everyone. See you next time.
Huge thank you to Tristan.
Sodder.
Same to you, pal. Big thanks to Marius.
Can I just say something?
Go on.
Oban, Michael, the time has come for you to lip sync for your life.
Thank you, guys. Fuck it up.
See you soon.
Andy, thank you very much for joining us this evening. There you go, you can hear me now. Big thank you to Oban.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Ευχαριστώ πάρα πολύ. Καληνύχτα, everyone. Dobronoc.
And finally, big thank you to Michael.
Děkuji moc krát, everybody. Dobrý večer, everyone. Dobrý ráno, Australia. Thanks a lot, guys. Thanks for joining in. Thanks for having me on.
Pleasure. Our pleasure as always. And finally, big thanks to Tom. Thank you, Tom. Thanks for being the chatter of the chat room this evening.
Hey, cheers, Steve. Fantastic show. Thanks to everyone in the chat room that's contributed. It's been a blast. And yes, the suspicions were right. I did go to the Stuart School of Cocktail Making before the show. I really should stop that on a Friday night. It just means I get really drunk really quickly.
Yeah, you were in a pretty bad way last week, I must say. Guys, tune in Sunday night, 9 p.m. Central European time. Thanks for joining. Thanks for your comments. Make sure you give the show a like or dislike if you hated it. Leave us comments on the YouTube channel. Really important. And we will see you here Sunday for more of this. Ta-ta for now. Bye-bye.
Bye.